So we've heard the reports that Joe Mazzulla might be fired, and it's funny because on my daily internet radio show that I've been doing for over a year now, one of our co-hosts, who's a diehard Celtics fan, said during the Hawks series that if the Celtics faced a big collapse, some sort in the playoffs, Joe Mazzulla could be fired, and he wouldn't be surprised if Nick Nurse or someone would be targeted. And the Boston Celtics face a 3-0 series deficit and are probably going to get swept or gentlemen sweep by the Miami Heat. And reports came out that the Celtics never got over Ime Udoka being dismissed as head coach, according to Adrian Wojnarowski. And, quote, this locker room never got over Ime Udoka's dismissal head coach. These players did not accept the organization's reasoning for doing it. They thought it was a wild overreaction. There were a lot of people outside thought it was an overreaction, that it was an HR matter. I think for the team and talking to the management, they never got more answers than the public was getting. This doesn't mean they haven't accepted Joe Mazzulla as head coach, but this team really believed in Ime Udoka and a strong connection with them. And I think there were a couple instances this season where that angst resurfaced, first when the Brooklyn Nets nearly hired Udoka as head coach, and then when the Rockets did. Certainly those were factors, end quote, Adrian Wojnarowski said on ESPN on Monday when trying to explain why the Celtics are on the brink of elimination. And it makes sense. I mean, it's a completely different culture. It's a completely different mindset that they've been going into. And I wonder what's going to happen right here, especially with this being a team that had aspirations to, go and try to be champions. And that's why we're here. It's a disappointment that they're getting swept. I understand that this ended up being a 7-game series and they lost, on a last-minute bucket, but the fact that they're going to get swept or gentlemen, swept against an 8-seed team that on paper they're more talented and everything, it makes sense. And Joe Mazzulla, yeah, he has experience as an assistant, but he wasn't well-traveled or had the playing experience, even though he played in college and he won high level for the WVU Mountaineers, but it's not the same experience that Ime Udoka had. And yeah, was it an overreaction? Yeah. I mean, really, if he had fucked anyone else, not name, because it was multiple people, but really why they fired him was it was the chief financial officer's wife he banged. He banged one of his boss's wives. Okay, not daughter, wives. My apology, wives. Okay, you can bang anybody except your wife's, your boss's wife. You can bang your coworker's wife as long as it ain't your boss. If the coworker's below you, you'll get away with it because you're seniority. But, if it's the CFO, the guy who's writing your checks, it's going to be very hard for them to want to keep you. So I want to hear your thoughts down below. That's the video, guys. Peace out.